Hello, everybody, and welcome to Old and Bitter episode number 4. Yes, we are on number 4. And we want to give a shout out to my doc, Dr. Montgomery at Lone Star Dental Group. You need a dentist, you got to go see Dr. Mont, whether it's cleaning, whether it's a crown, whether it's a filling, anything you need, go see Dr. Mont. He's the best. Lone Star Dental Group, Plano, Texas. 972-954-4295. I'm telling you, best dentist, go see Dr. Mont. So, tonight we're going to talk about relationships. And now we're not just talking about dating relationships, but we are going to go into that. But just pretty much all different types of things. So, with that being said...
Hey, John.
Yes.
Before we get going on relationships, we usually do this on a Thursday night. Do you want to tell everybody why we're doing this on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Kind of goes with our name, Old and Bitter, a little bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, or maybe, I guess it is unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe fortunate, too.
This old and bitter guy right here, I got to go get a colonoscopy. So I'm going to be loading up on some medicine, and I won't be available tomorrow night.
So you're going to be drinking that chalky, bitter stuff.
Yeah. And a whole bunch of other stuff. So, hey, but this is for all the guys out there. Make sure you get a colonoscopy. Get checked. Okay? It's important to get checked. Take care of yourself. Your health is very, very important. I have friends who are like, oh, I'm not getting that. I don't need it. It's not a question of needing it. It's always about just making sure everything is fine. So, with that, we're going to dive into some relationship stuff. And before we do, just kind of going down memory lane, do you guys recall your first serious girlfriend you ever had? Ricky?
Yeah, it was my ex-wife. Yeah, we started dating when I was in the 8th grade, so that occurred really early.
Wow. So did you know right away that she was going to be it? Like when you first met her, like, hey, this is something special?
I mean, I was 14 years old, so no, I mean, my prefrontal cortex wasn't even fully formed at that point. But I'll say probably within about a year and a half, 2 years, which I know that sounds like a long time, but especially when you're 14, you really don't even know what a relationship is supposed to be like. So yeah, I'd say about a year and a half, 2 years. We had never broken up. Very few arguments, that kind of thing. And
so that was your first serious girlfriend, then at what age did you guys get married?
I was 17. She was 19.
Nice. And then you guys were married for how long?
17 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
So we were together for almost 20.
That's awesome. Scotty, what about you? You remember your very first serious girlfriend?
Serious girlfriend, you'd go out a couple times, whatever. But first serious girlfriend was probably senior year of high school.
Do you remember her name?
I do. I've forgotten a lot of things, but I do remember her name.
I don't remember who she was. I'm terrible like that. I'm the worst with names, though, because it's like if I forget something, like if my wife and I are out, somebody, hey, and they say, come up to me, I always like nudge my wife to say, hey, introduce yourself. All right, so Scotty, go back to you.
But when you forget things, do you still see pictures, but you just forget?
Yeah, I can't
see the face.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't
remember.
Yeah,
you just
that's old and bitter.
Just lost the name.
Yeah. So what was her name?
Her name is Mandy.
Mandy from Tipton, Indiana.
That is correct.
Was she a Tipton high schooler?
She was.
Cheerleader?
She was.
Look at that. See?
Golly. It's like you've had this conversation before. I know. This is nuts.
How about you, John?
You know what?
Don't say 6 years old.
No. That was my first kiss in kindergarten. Alice and Andre in my garage in I was born in 64, so 1969, Lombard, Illinois, in my garage. Actually, my first real girlfriend, because I was a sophomore in high school. I had moved to upstate New York my 8th grade year. Peggy Priest. She was a freshman. She was a hooper. She could ball too. She was a great basketball player. Met her at school and Skinny Atlas High School, upstate New York. She was probably my first girlfriend that I really had. But then, like, even after her, like Scotty was saying, you go out for a couple days here, but never had anything like really, really super serious after that.
But you're like learning how to date too.
Yeah, but you got to remember back then it was different. Ricky's young because Ricky's only 38, right?
Yeah, 38.
And I'm 9 away from 70, so things have definitely changed. Like back then it was like you called them on the phone, you asked them out, you did all these other things. It's just like, or if you saw them, you might have your friend go up and ask them. Do you remember how you first asked the girl from Tipton to go out?
Oh, you just had to go talk to her.
Yeah.
There wasn't texting and all that. So,
do you think for us, because you're Scotty, what are you, 50?
53.
53. Do you think it's easier now to get into a relationship, or was it easier back then?
It might be easier to get a response now just because you have your phone and you're looking for that instant kind of response. But in terms of a meaningful relationship, the personal contact, I think, is definitely the way to go. Like my kids, I talked to both of them, and my kids are 22 and 20, and I told her, don't answer if a guy's picking you up to get a text and say, I'm outside, I'm ready. No. And just like I told my son, he's 20, go to the door every time. Knock on the door, say hi to the family, pick her up, go outside. The phones just changed a lot of that because kids just like text and meet me here, meet me there. There's not even did you ever get uncomfortable, John, going to a door, knocking and talking to a family?
Yeah. Because I always prayed when I was picking them up or actually going, that when I knocked on the door that they would be the first one to answer the door, not like Dad.
Like Dad would be going,
hey, you must be John, come on in. And I'd be like scared to death, my palms are
slap
sweaty,
you on the back.
All this other stuff. Oh, let's come in and sit down. And you're like, and then it was always like, Dad, stop, we got to leave. And I just like, but back then that's how it was. It was, just like you were saying. So,
but it should be that way now too.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. I almost want to say I know it's not like that. I think you look at today's stuff and you've got all the social media aspects of it with all the, the dating apps and all this stuff. And I will say one thing, I met my wife on a dating app, and it was, I'm 61, we've been married, so 48 when I met her. But it was, I think it was a lot easier now because it's almost like you're shopping.
Right.
Because you go on the web page or whatever, and you look at the app, and they have all the pictures and all that stuff, and you can email them and so forth, and they see your pictures and all that other stuff. So that part was, for me, was a lot easier than going up to say something to someone. Even in high school, I was very, very shy about going up to say, hey, I was wondering maybe if you like to have dinner, or you want to go out, because you always had that fear of rejection.
Right.
And so I think now it's a lot easier. I think the only problem is that there's just so much lack of actual interaction, communication, because everything's done via phone or, texting and so forth like that. For you, Ricky, you're a little bit younger than us. Well, a lot younger than me, but because you're single now, how has it been for you compared to when you were growing up?
So when I met my ex-wife, there was more human interaction then. Now, granted, we met over Instant Messenger is what it was. They had Yahoo Instant Messenger back in the day, back in 2000, which is when we started dating. Her brother and I, we were friends in school, and so he gave me his Instant Messenger handle, and we started talking, and then of course, there was one family computer and one line in the house, so you didn't have a business line or anything in there. So you had to take turns on the computer. Imagine that. And this was back before texting and all that. So he was getting off the computer and he said, well, hey, my sister's about to get on. You can talk to her if you want. And so we started talking and just hit it off. And that's kind of how things, set off for us. So it was kind of sort of digital in that way, but we also went to school together too. So it was more, hey, I'll talk to you in school.
Right.
We started passing notes. And to your point, when I did go to her house to pick her up, I did talk to her family. And so that aspect of it was there still very much. But I mean, these days, especially at my age now, I think it's a lot different, Scott, than like now as it would be like as a high schooler.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I could definitely see if I was, I don't know, 15 or 16 and driving up to my girlfriend's house and then sending her a text and waiting outside, waiting for her to come up there. But like as a 38-year-old, really my interest is in trying to meet in a public place so that everyone's comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure they're comfortable, and knowing that they're comfortable makes me comfortable.
Especially a stranger.
100%. Yeah. With everything that happens nowadays just all sorts of bad things can happen. So making sure that everyone's comfortable and safe is the top priority. And then in that area, you can build a safe environment rather, to let things kind of come to fruition. And you always want to start with a solid foundation. I think that's kind of how things go now. But the dating apps, I think, are really good for helping people connect.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of, I don't know what you want to
Fake
call
advertising.
it. Well, not necessarily fake advertising, but just dry conversation. People who act like they want to talk and everything, and then it's just one word answers here, whatever. It's like, where did these people learn to communicate?
Well,
So-
go ahead.
So on all these dating apps, Ricky, do they ask you like a lot of questions about yourself, and that's kind of how that algorithm works?
Well, the only one I've used is Facebook dating, right? So they just ask you for a description as to what you're looking for, and your search radius, your religious background, do you drink, do you smoke, that kind of thing. And so you have, I don't know, 500 words to kind of tell people about who you are and what you are.
See, because like I said, I met my wife on one, but I had one where it was just like, they made you fill it out and they said what your profession was. And it was like, teacher, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Well, heck, all they did was fix me up with teachers.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean I want to date a teacher. And then the other thing too is I was thinking about, I'm so glad that I met my wife when I did, because if I was my age now, if I was single.
You
right
are your
now,
age now.
Yeah, I am my age now. If I was single now, it would be like horrible, because I'd be like, hey, do you want to go to dinner at 5 and then maybe go to a movie at 7? Because I need to be in bed by 9.
Right.
Because that's what old people do. It's like, shit, I like to put on my sweats at 6 o'clock on a good day and just chill at the house. But I think it's changed so much. I don't know if, guys are walking, obviously it doesn't sound like it from like Scott's stuff, but like guys aren't going to pick the girls up. They're not walking. It's more like, hey, meet me here. And then it's funny too, because I had my nephew, he was talking to this girl for a while, and I said, he calls me, hey, I got a date. And I said, oh, that's great. And I go, did you call and ask her? No, we texted. And so they went on a date, and I said, how was it? And he's just like, we didn't have anything to talk about. Yeah. Because they never actually conversed. Everything was through conversation. You know? And then it was funny because I was talking to someone today, and they said same thing. They had a friend that was, same thing. They talked and text the whole time. But then all of a sudden, when they were together, they were just like, And I was telling my buddy, and he's just like, I said, you can't go out like that. And he's like, yeah, but I just, we talked a lot. Well, I said, no, you never even spoke to her. You just text her on the phone, and then you go out, and then you're like calling me and go, man, this is horrible. This isn't working. I said, because you don't converse. Yeah. And I think that's where the communication aspect lies, where it's just like, it goes out the window. So it's not just my nephew, and it's a good friend of mine who goes out on a date or talks to a girl via some dating app and then goes to see her in person, and it's just like they have literally nothing to say. Yeah,
well, I've had too much conversation, like what you're referring to there, but I've also had the inverse, to where I asked, what kind of things do you like? What kind of hobbies are you into? What restaurants do you like? Those kinds of things. And I think the person responded with, well, I only talk about those things, on a date. And so I don't really like to get to know people here on the app. And I said, well, I was kind of asking those things so I kind of knew what points of interest so that we could kind of curtail the date towards those points of interest.
Yeah.
So thanks for your time and good luck to you.
Did you say that?
I did.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. I said, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for coming by. We'll be right back with the next girl.
That was the end of it. Cause I was like, you're not going to waste my time.
See, that's where I think it's tough because like I said, my buddy who went on a date and didn't have anything to say to the girl. They went to dinner and he just sat there and just like, it was so uncomfortable. It's just like, I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't know if I could survive now. I just don't, it's just.
I am thankful every day that I met my wife way back in college.
100%. I mean, for me, 13, almost 14 years, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But it's just, to hear the dating stories and hear the horrors and all the other things and, this or that. I think it's got to be really, really tough. I guess too, do you think it's tougher for older people now to date than it was back then?
I think it would be easier. Honestly, I do.
With all the stuff that's going, because you have like women. Hey, it's a dating app for people over 60, or a senior citizen dating app.
Well, I would think people from that particular generation would have similar values and mindsets with regards to relationships. I think what I've run into a lot here are people who want to either date casually or they're into different relationship setups, if you will. And you just never know what you're going to get nowadays. There's a smorgasbord of different ideas and ideals out there.
John has a very confused look on his face, Ricky, when you're talking about different relationship setups.
No, I just didn't know smorgasbord. What the heck is that?
Variety, array.
Like a buffet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it comes in every shape, color, size, frequency. I mean, it's everything.
So let me ask you this, because you're single. And I was kind of always like, it was always, everybody's always attracted to the first initial look of them. Are they attractive? Are they are they not? Whatever. Is that the first thing? I mean, is that your first check mark? Is she attractive? Is she not attractive? Or do you look past that and go, hey, you know what? Or have you ever gone on a date where maybe she wasn't as attractive as you thought she was, and then you realize, man, there's so much more? Because the thing is, I was talking to a friend today, and it's just like, after the attraction's gone, you got to have other stuff.
Of course.
Now I know why my wife always leaves the room, because the attraction's gone, so she's always out the door, and I'm like, okay, bye, see ya. I'm still here when you get back.
But the attraction's likely the first thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
And then you're looking at your values and.
Hey, I really like her because she's smart.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, she's very attractive. I mean. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Yeah, I think you've got to be attracted to your partner. That's important.
But what the thing that is do you get to the point where do you start to look past the attraction? I mean, because I'll never forget. I mean, when I first came, I dated this girl for a while, and she was smoking hot, just really just gorgeous. And like after like about a month and a half, like we ended up breaking up. Even my buddy's like, "Why'd you break up with her? She was so pretty. She was so nice." And he's just like. But there wasn't anything past that, I mean, it's just like you kind of understand that, yeah, she was gorgeous and she was wonderful, but there was nothing for us as a couple.
You have to have depth, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be substance in that relationship. It can't just be attraction.
No. But a lot of people base it off on that.
Yeah.
Because she's really good looking, or because he's handsome, or he works out, or whatever the case may be.
Well, and I think that's where the whole dating casually comes in, because people just want to try the flavor of the week at that point.
But that only goes so far.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the flavor of the week. Now with all these like other things like Tinder, that's the one where you swipe right or left, right? Mm-hmm. And there's these other ones that what, you guys never heard of that? I just heard of that a couple days ago. So there's another thing where if you have a ring on, like if you wear a ring out, a certain ring. I know a guy, he's just like, he's single, he's in his 50s, but he's like, if you wear a certain ring and you go to clubs, that if people see this ring, they know that you're single.
Okay. I figured if you're in your 50s going to a club, it's pretty obvious at that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right? But I'm just saying, it's like all these things to try to, like you said, to try the flavor of the week, because it's just like, in the ring thing and all these other apps and everything else, it's just, I mean, I want everyone to be happy. If you want to be in a relationship, I want you to be in a relationship. I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, some of this stuff, like or the hookups, and I mean, there's another one, because I had dinner with a friend of mine, and he said something, but it wasn't Tinder. It was something. I don't know what it was. See, this is stuff I don't have to worry about, which is great.
Right. So
I don't. To me, that just kind of throws me for a loop from a relationship standpoint. If you're just like you said, you're looking for just the flavor of the week, and then it's just like you move on, and it's just like there's really no substance for you in a relationship. There's no depth. You're just looking to,
So John, what are your commonalities after the attraction piece? Is it about values? Is it about hobbies? Like what do you think comes next?
Well, for me, when I first met my wife, we were sat down, and I was just like, man, she's smoking. I just hope she likes me. And the first thing she said to me is, you have a 5-minute window. And I'm like, what? She goes, you have 5 minutes. If you don't like it, you can leave. And I'm like, God, I hope she doesn't take her 5-minute window.
I was going to say, she's giving herself a 5-minute window too, then.
I'm getting the heck out of here. This guy's a knucklehead. But no, I mean, then we walked around and we started talking. Yes, knucklehead's it's an old man's word. Good Lord. And so, we started talking, and it was just, and she was from Chicago. I was from Chicago. So the first thing I asked her, I said, all right, you're from the South Side. I'm from the North Side. I'm going to throw one word out at you. This is how this date's going to go, whether it's going to be good or bad. And I said, Cubs or White Sox. Predominantly, if you're on the South Side of Chicago, you're a White Sox fan.
You're a Kaminsky.
Yeah. And if you're on the North Side, you're a Cubby. And she said, well, I was born on the South Side, but I love the Cubs. Right then and there, I knew this was something special.
Yeah.
And then, we just hit it off. And then like 6 months into the relationship, I decided that I don't want to spend my life alone, and I don't want to spend my life with anybody else. And I met Mrs. Wright and proposed to her. And
so 6 months in, you proposed.
Yeah. Wow. Like, I mean, I was 48. So I mean, it's like I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And she had everything that I wanted. I mean, she was beautiful. She was charming. She has a heart of gold. She's a great, she's a great aunt to her nephews and nieces, and it's just great family values. You got a great family, all this other stuff. And on top of that, not only did I just, fall in love with her, my mom and my dad and my family fell in love with her. She's like, when you meet her, it's just like, you just kind of go, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Even my nephew, after we got married, he would always say, Uncle John, you outkicked your coverage. And I'm like, yeah, I did. I said, I'm very, very lucky, but I'm very, very blessed too.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Scott? When you met Diane, what was it like for you?
So I met Diane back in college. Her sorority, my fraternity, they did like a mixer, and the older people in the houses kind of paired us up just because they didn't want people standing around awkwardly not talking. So she was my buddy, quote unquote buddy, or the person I was supposed to talk to that night or whatever. And, just talking, and then figuring out that we had a lot in common. I grew up on a small farm. She grew up on a farm. We like sports. I like to play softball. She was a catcher at a softball league up at college, intramural league, and I went and watched a few games, and I don't know. We just really hit it off and just talked and talked and talked. So, yeah. And that was the thing with the talking. Like, so there was like 2.5 hours between us up in Indiana, and I called her house, but of course it's the landline. And, her dad's like, there's some guy I don't know calling you. What's going on here? But you had to do that. I mean, it was landline, and you called, and it was kind of, because we met kind of in the spring of that year. So then over the summer, called her a few times, and then really picked up the dating in the fall when we both got back to campus. But yeah, you had a lot of that commonalities. I think family is extremely important. The first few times I met her parents, I'm like, yeah, I can see where she gets this from.
They liked you?
They did. Although the first time I went up there after dinner, he's like, hey, let's go do something. And I got in the truck with her dad, and we went around the side of the farm, and he had some targets set up and pulls out a 357 and a couple other guns, and we were shooting into the railroad track at the targets.
He just didn't look at you with a gun and say, run.
He didn't say, hey, run up there.
You got 30 seconds to go. Run.
So I'm like, I asked her as we're driving back, I'm like, okay, what kind of message was that? But no, it was awesome. And I mean, and I don't think you date their family,
right?
But that is a piece of the relationship, and the relationship I see that she has with she's the youngest of 4 girls, with all her sisters and her brother-in-laws, and the way that she interacts with I'm second of 5 with all my siblings. I mean, there is something to be said for that. I don't know that a relationship's going to work if you can't see some of that commonality there in terms of what you like with the families. And I'll throw another thing out there, religion. I had a good friend in college, dated a girl for 2.5 years, but then, I mean, they weren't of the same religion, and they just couldn't get past that, which I always thought was interesting. Luckily, Diane and I are both Catholic, and
you're Catholic.
we had that commonality. So I don't know, it just lined up perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was this year. We'll have 29 years.
That's awesome.
So
I still don't know what she sees in you, but that's awesome.
Hey, it's all right.
It's funny because I think, I mean, obviously people do, but do you think it's that much of a deal breaker if I'm one religion and you're another religion? Do you think there are, I mean, I'm sure there are, but what do you think the odds are that, or what percentages of families who are different religions stay together?
I don't know, but I think the communication has to be the key. Like if you're going into a relationship, you're going into a marriage, you're bringing kids into the world, I hope some of that communication takes place ahead of time. Yeah.
I've never had it where it was like something based off of, well, I've only been married and she was Catholic, so that makes it easier. But I mean, I can see if you're very strong, into your religion. But I mean, sometimes I think you could really be missing out on an amazing person,
right?
But those are your religious values. So I mean,
I think it really depends on how close your religions align to, or your beliefs even, because like I've been dating somebody for 2 weeks. And they're not Catholic, but they're fine with me being Catholic, and I'm fine with them going to a non-denominational church. They were raised Catholic, but I also have a Baptist background too. So it's like I think we both kind of understand both perspectives as well.
But you've only been dating her 2 weeks, and you already know that. So there has been some communication.
Sure, there definitely has been communication, and I mean, we even talked. I said, I'm not going to stop being Catholic. And she's like, no, I wouldn't expect you to do that.
Yeah. Wait, so you're telling me all those girls I dated in high school, if I would have talked a little bit more, maybe it could have turned out to be longer?
Maybe. Maybe so.
God, I'm so stupid.
Communication is key,
That's why you have a mixer and get assigned a buddy.
That's, I guess the thing too is, I mean, at what point, I guess what I'm trying to get is, from the communication and all the social media stuff, do you think it's put a negative, or maybe like a chip on dating in general because of all the stuff that's, because like back then, I mean, like I graduated high school in 1982. So it's like, you just, if you like someone, you went and you told them, you walked up to them, you conversed with them, you did this. It wasn't, swiping right or left or going online, though I did meet my wife that way, but years down the road, but it's taken such a different.
I think it was easier back then because the rules of engagement were understood, and today they're not.
But also,
you never know what you're walking into.
How many people are honest online too? Like, I've never been in that world, Ricky, but do you encounter some misleads online.
Sure. I went on a date with a girl who said she was dating with intent, and then come to find out, she said she just wanted to casually date. And that was the deal. Like, we thought, and it was like, no, I had a great first date too.
So, my thing was when I started dating in my later years, I was living in a certain area where my apartment was, and there were restaurants and everything there. And I had, my buddy would go out and he'd call me, "How was your date?" Man, I drove all the way downtown Dallas. It was so horrible. We texted on the phone, blah, blah, blah. So my whole thing was, all I wanted to do is I'd be like, "Hey, do you know where this restaurant is?" So, "Oh yeah, we go out there all the time. My friends, we love that place hanging." So it was like, I could walk out my apartment and walk a block and I would be there.
Right.
So maybe I was selfish, maybe I was smart, but I wasn't going to drive all over the Metroplex looking for, a restaurant and then have to drive home. So I'm like, I'm just going to be able to walk up here. So if the date's bad, I'll be home in 5 minutes.
So you're kind of protecting yourself a little bit too.
Yeah. So, that was the thing where it's just like, I'm not going to drive, you're going to have to come see me, even though you don't know I live right around the block. But that's what my whole thing was. Cause like you go through that whole dating thing where, you're driving everywhere and you're doing this and everything. And it's just like, I don't want to do that anymore. Because I think we're all pretty much a good judge of character, and you can tell 3 or 4 minutes into the date with conversation whether or not this is going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But then it's like you said, where it's gotten so different, where it's just like, you go to those websites and, hey, you know what? Like the Tinder thing, you swipe right. Oh, let's go hook up. And it's like, really?
No. But see right there, we talked about values earlier. Yeah, there's the respect factor is not there.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So how can that, that's not even a relationship. That's
kind of the whole thing is they get online saying that they want a relationship or whatever else. And then it's like, no, that's not what they're after. And, I guess the big deal is you go through a lot of mismatches. So today, I think connecting and actually meeting up and going on the date is probably easier than it has ever been with regards to what you guys were talking about, walking up to somebody and asking, "Do you want to go on a date?" But I'll say the quality of matches has gone down substantially because I feel like there's probably fewer quality matches to weed out.
Yeah.
And now it's just, how do you cut through the noise to find what it is you're looking for?
Well, Scott brings up a great point, just the value system. I think people's values have gone not completely out the door, but by the wayside, because it's like, growing up, it was, you'd pick the girl up, and when you got done, you got out, you walked her to her door.
Yep.
And like, for me, it was always, "Thank you, I had a wonderful time," even if you didn't have a wonderful time. My dad was like, "Hey, you always just tell me you had a great time." But regardless, it's like, and my whole thing was, I would never kiss on the first date because I wanted to show them that I had respect for you.
Right.
It wasn't, "Hey, you need to give me a kiss," or "I want to give you a kiss goodnight," blah, blah, blah. It was being respectful.
Absolutely.
And I think nowadays, even here and talking to my nephew who's single and some of his friends, it's still the same. It's different because it's just like, not to say he is, but the respect, I think, goes out the window maybe, because it's like, we didn't hook up, so I'm not going out with her anymore. Well, hey, what about your values?
Yeah.
What about getting to know who she is and finding out what type of person she is, or even, because I'd rather have someone go, because when I was in college, I was dating this girl for a little bit, and like the first day we went up, same thing, even in college, her friend saw me the next day because, "You didn't kiss her goodnight." I go, "Well, no," I said, "because I wasn't brought up that way, and I want her to respect me, and I want her to know that I respect her, and
right.
I'm not just going to say, 'Hey, can I give you a kiss?'" And then after that, 3 days, probably about 3 dates later, she broke up with me. So it wasn't the best, but I just like, hey, you know what it is, what it is. Respect is respect. It's something that's
poorly lacking these days too.
And I think times have definitely changed, but I don't know. I don't necessarily, like I said, I think like some of the stuff, the dating apps and stuff, I think it's easier for people to meet people, but I still think their values now are completely different from what it was like when I grew up and like when Scott grew up. Even like, when you grew up, I mean, you were with the same girl through high school, through middle school all the way up and got married. But I think today's values are just, they've been swayed so much, with the dating apps and everything else that it's just, and then all the stuff on social media, it's all the little emojis, and each emoji means something. And it's just like, it's,
people want to hide behind all these very vague statements and I don't know, profile descriptions and everything else. And even like what their communication in the apps and stuff like that, they want to hide behind that. They don't want to let out too much. And I think that's kind of where, like this girl I've been seeing for 2 weeks, we just flat out said, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, great. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, that's fantastic. All right, let's go on a date.
And how old is she?
44.
So, but again, you guys, I mean, you're established. I mean, you've been through the datings in high school and in your 20s and stuff. So, I mean, I think it's easier, like I said, for older people because they know what they want.
Yeah, we can cut the crap a little bit.
I think the younger age, it's just like they don't know what they want. And it's just like, then you find someone, who you really, really like. It's kind of like
they're still finding their way.
Yeah.
Still stumbling through.
But the number that actually stumble through, because you're talking about working on something. If they want something, they work for it. You bet. There's a lot of people that just throw their hands up and move on, right?
Relationships are work. It doesn't mean that it has to be hard, difficult work, but they're going to be work no matter what.
And whether we're talking romantic relationship, family relationship, friendships, acquaintances at work, sometimes all those are work. Yeah. But you got to put the work in if it's worth it.
You bet.
And there's a lot of give and take. I mean, you have to give and take.
Compromise.
Even not even if we're talking about in the dating world, it's just in general in relationships with your friends, with your buddies, with your gals, everything. There's got to be a give and take because you've got to understand who they are and accept them for who they are, and I think that's sometimes because there's times where like I've got buddies where it's like I don't want to hang out with them anymore because of the way they act, right. And it's just like, that's not a part of me and it's never been a part of me, but that's, how you are. And I just, you see that afterwards down the road and you just kind of distance just because it's like Scott said, it comes down to your values. What are your values about?
Absolutely.
What do you want in life? Are you okay with just having one friend, or do you need 100 friends, or can you be by yourself, or do you have to be in a relationship, or because I got friends who they want to be in a relationship so bad, but they don't want to work at it. They want to go the easy route. Yeah. The swipe right, swipe left website here, dating app here, dating, all this other stuff. It's like, you're not going to meet anybody if you're going to continually just not give anyone an opportunity.
But also experiences kind of shape our values too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are things that I didn't know, first few years of marriage, heck, yesterday, lots of things you don't know, but you learn from it.
What didn't you know yesterday?
Unfortunately, I think there are people that have had traumatic experiences with relationships.
I think he's dodging the question.
And that get him a little gun shot. We all had our ups and downs. What did you learn yesterday?
You know what I mean? You're missing the point.
No,
I think people get a little gun shy in relationships based on past experiences, and sometimes those from different things I've talked to people about can be pretty traumatic type experiences.
Yeah, no, I get that.
In relationships,
like you date someone who's like, I just want to let you know I'm a very, very jealous person because I've been hurt so many times before, and it's just like, okay, but don't bring that into this relationship because I'm going to make it so that you're not going to have to be worried about any of that stuff,
right?
But they still bring that in, and then it's just like, where were you? I was at the grocery store. You didn't tell me you were going to the grocery store. Who did you go see? Him?
Doug the cashier.
Yeah, Doug and Frank in the ham section.
And Orville Redenbacher.
And Betty, who was in produce. It's just, that's the stuff that, I still think, I don't think that stuff will ever go away because I think, like Scott says, you get people who've been in relationships where they've been hurt, and it's just like, and I get it. It's hard to break from that because it's, I get it if it happens once, but like if, you've been dumped a lot of times, you get to the point where it's like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. Like my whole thing was, even in high school, I didn't date a lot. I never had a really serious girlfriend, but it's like, I would date a couple times, like 2 or 3 dates. And then either it's just like, she wants to go out with somebody else. And you get to the point where it's like, you don't feel sorry for yourself, but it's just like, and I'm just gonna put my guard up and just, my walls are going to be a little bit higher, to break down, but I've got to protect myself. Well, but again, when you meet someone new, you can't have that wall sitting way up here because there's no way for them to get to know you.
Well, and Scott, you were talking about relationships and them being work, right? And people don't want to put in the work. Mm-hmm. And I think the number one biggest, if you want to call it, because I've heard red flags and green flags. I don't know if you guys have heard of those terminologies or not. Green flags means, priorities or properties in a person that you see that make them a quality person, somebody that is a suitable partner for you. Red flags are things you really need to watch out for. Everyone
has a red flag.
Well, okay, so jealousy being one of those, right? Everyone's got red flags. Every single one of us, we all have trauma that we've worked on.
Having kids a red flag for people who are dating?
Well, that depends on your values. I mean, and one person's red flag may not be another person's red flag. Right. That's where values and boundaries and everything else come in. But dare I say, I think the number one green flag is that the number one relationship that these people work on is the one with themselves. Because if they're not willing to do the work with themselves to help self-improve, they're definitely not going to want to do the work with you.
Yeah.
And so if they're reaching for external validation from you to constantly give them the security that they need, and that means they need somebody else. And that's never going to work because it's always going to be on you to shoulder the load. And so they have to be willing to work on their relationship with themselves first in order to be healthy enough to work on a relationship with you and with others. Which I think is why it's important for you to watch their relationship with other people. If they have kids, look at how they interact with their kids. Look at how they interact with their parents. Look at how they interact with their friends. Because you can see what kind of work they put in with all of those other relationships. And look at the relationship or the work that they put in with themselves too. That's important. So I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's not willing to grow. I want to grow together and alongside one another.
And part of that growth is making mistakes together too.
Absolutely.
But learning from them and moving forward.
And not taking the intent that your partner is against you in that mistake. Like when mistakes are made, you assume the best intent in your partner because they're supposed to be there to help. So that's just like when you're dancing and you step on somebody's foot. If they had it out for you, if there was contempt there, or there was malintent or whatever else, they would assume that you did it on purpose and you're a bad person for it and everything else. Whereas if you're just learning to dance and you did it, they could, of course, say, ouch, and you say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your foot.
And then she takes the lead.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. So if I'm dancing with somebody, say I'm not married, and I'm dancing, and I'm a pretty damn good dancer, I got to admit. But if I'm a dancer and I step on the girl's foot, and she looks at me and she goes, ow, or she might think, he did this on purpose because he don't like me.
Well, the dance is a metaphor, John.
Oh, see, this is too heavy for a guy my age.
Hey, look, relationships are dancing.
Colonoscopy or
non-colonoscopy. Y'all are going to be working together.
Hey, what's that song? Life's a dance. You learn as you go.
Mm-hmm. No, y'all are going to be learning together. Y'all are going to be making steps and everything else, and somebody's inadvertently going to step on somebody's
But every time
foot.
I try to talk to my wife, she's always like, "Hey, I got to go. I got to go to Pilates. I got to go run to the store. I got to go this or this." I don't know what's happening.
Classic avoidant, John.
I try communication, and she changes the channel.
Stonewall.
I think this podcast is a dance sometimes.
No, I love my wife to death. She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Amen.
Well, we're gonna shut things down for episode number 4 with all this talk about relationships, and we want to wish everybody out there who's listening, if you're in a relationship, we hope that you're happy. We hope that it prospers. Remember, communication's the key. And if you're not in a relationship, you can't eat soup off a plate. That's one of Ricky's things. I have no clue what it means. And if you're not in a relationship, it's okay. Just be happy, enjoy your life, and you know what? Maybe you'll meet somebody.
Ask her to dance.
Ask her to dance. And if you step on her toe on purpose, contact Ricky.
Yeah, I will help you out there if it's on purpose.
Rick, do we have an email for Old and Bitter?
We do.
We do? What is
Old and Bitter Podcast at gmail.com.
Okay, so here's what we're going to send out for all you listeners. Old and Bitter Podcast at gmail.com. Now, this can't be somebody that we know, but if you're listening, send us a hello, and we're going to send you a free Old and Bitter coffee mug. Okay, so the first one who sends us, we're going to send you out a nice Old and Bitter coffee mug that we all drink out of every day when we're on this show. So, for Ricky, the young guy, Scott, and me, John, who's getting his colonoscopy tomorrow. That's why we're
good luck with the Miralax
today. Yeah, good luck with all that stuff. We will see you next time for Old and Bitter. Thanks for listening.